Sorry, what's the program called?
Inkscape.
Inkscape. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It works with vectors, kind of like Adobe Illustrator. The great news is that it's free. It's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux, so you can put it anywhere you want. It's very small. It has a nice little feature that I like and enjoy a lot, which is you can import the PDF and modify them. So if you think that sending a PDF to somebody means that they cannot change it, it's not true. Sometimes it doesn't work very well, but it is possible to change a PDF with this. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how this art program can be used, especially at primary level, to introduce mathematical concepts regarding geometry. Using geometrical shapes and geometrical operations to create art. Yeah? So, why is that possible? Well, one of the reasons is that Inkscape, as I said, works with vectors. Yeah. So here I have two little B's. Yeah. So you have one on the left side and one on the right side. The one on the right side looks pretty bad. You obviously zoomed in too far and you see little squares. The one on the left side, I could zoom in, I could expand it, I could print it covering the whole wall, and it would still look sharp. Because what Inkscape is manipulating as mathematical formulas. Yeah. The formulas behind those lines. Okay? So, this is so cool for kids because they can get to explore geometrical operations that are sometimes quite hard to introduce and they get talked about later on in high school. But they can play with them right away. And they can use them. So here's a rectangle, here's a circle. Yeah. And I'm going to create new shapes from simple shapes. So I can select two of these, and here there's a whole set of geometrical operations: union, intersection, exclusion, difference. So, for example, let's do difference. Yeah, so I created a new shape. Yeah, difference, by combining two existing shapes, and that's a geometrical operation. Obviously, undo works great, so kids can experiment and play with it without fear of messing up. Yeah. It's also very quick to duplicate and then try, okay, so how about exclusion? There you go. Oh, that's what exclusion looks like. Wow. Everything but the common area. And here I'm doing it easy, I'm doing it with two shapes. You do it with three or with four, sometimes can be very hard to visualize or to even explain to kids what does exclusion look like when you have four shapes. Yeah, so put it there, give it a go, see what happens. Okay. What if I do it in a different order, if I do first two and then the other two? All those things they can explore. They can also start to play with things like control points when you're plotting a function. Yeah. So you can draw a line and then you can modify it. You can talk about tangents and how a tangent modifies the shape of a curve. Yeah. Obviously, in primary you're not going to start talking about parabolas and second-degree equations and all that. But they can start playing with it and see that there's math behind this art. And that's a very powerful cross-subject area.
It is brilliant.
Yeah, they're using different skills and traditional art to create art. Now, obviously, this is not exactly beautiful. Yeah, Inkscape can go further. You can take existing graphics from, for example, Wikipedia. All the Wikipedia vector graphics are in Inkscape format, and start not from scratch, but something existing. There's a lot of in Creative Commons, a lot of vector graphics that you can use. You can import photos and put vectors on top of them. It also has functions to convert photos into vectors that sometimes works well, sometimes doesn't. It can be used kind of like publisher. So here's a little birthday card that I made for my daughter. Yeah, that's why the B is there. But it can also be used to make, you can take it really, really far. Yeah, this is the DeviantArt page of Inkscape users. So all of these illustrations are using Inkscape. So, I mean, you can go pretty far. So when you tell kids, you see this? Looks really cool. It's all mine. There you go. So now go and change it. Because very often you will be able to download the vector of this and play with it and see how it was made up and see all the shapes that are constructing that image. Yeah. So, pretty cool. Very small download. Available everywhere. You can go right now and download it. And I suggest you do because it's incredibly useful.
Thank you.
And yeah, I have put links to some of this stuff in my, and also one article of where I found the idea that explains the concepts on my blog. My name is very different, so I'm easy to find. If you Google me, I'm easy to find because it's a very frequent name. So, but if you have trouble, let me know. Twitter, hashtag. Yeah. Any questions?
Can you do scale factors? Like if you've got a square and you want it 2 times bigger, can you actually just type in scale factor 2?
You can.
Different shape?
Here you actually see the coordinates, the width and height, and you can, yeah. You can also look at playing. Yeah, I locked the proportions, but you can also not do that.
Okay, that is the end of round 4.